Look at Britain today. A stagnant economy, crumbling infrastructure, and wages that have been flat for 15 years. You think the government would be obsessed with growth, but they're not. Instead, every policy seems designed to tighten control over your money, your movement, your speech, and even if it kills the economy. Because in modern Britain, control is more valuable than prosperity. Now, Britain hasn't had meaningful productivity growth in almost 2 decades. Investment is low, wages stagnate, and industries have been hollowed out. Yet the government piles on new regulations, new taxes, new surveillance measures, all of which discourage innovation and enterprise. If you want to build a system for growth, you'd streamline planning, cut red tape, and invest in future industries. But if you wanted to build a system for control, you do exactly what Britain is doing. Just look at this policy stack. ULEZ cameras, a city-wide tracking and fining network, digital ID, mandatory identity to work, bank, rent or log on, Online Safety Act gates huge parts of the internet behind ID checks, and a cashless economy, every transaction traceable, programmable and reversible. These aren't growth policies, they're control policies. Growth creates independence. People with rising wages, stable jobs, and wealth of their own become harder to control. They can move, speak out, vote differently. Stagnation creates dependency. People reliant on benefits, subsidies, or tightly regulated jobs are easier to manage. A controlled, stagnant society is predictable, and for politicians facing short election cycles and mass debt, predictability is safer than risk-taking growth. Look at how the UK treats its innovators. Planning permission for new housing and factories is almost impossible. Energy policy drives up for costs for manufacturers, and entrepreneurs drown in compliance. The result? Investment flows out, industry shrinks, and the state fills the gap with handouts and safety measures. Growth dies, control thrives. And every measure is sold as a safety or protection. ULEZ will protect the environment, digital ID will protect against fraud, age verification will protect children, and cashless will protect against crime. But protection is the sugarcoating for surveillance. Each new measure deepens the state's ability to monitor and manage. Growth isn't the goal, safety as control is. Compare this to high growth countries such as China, Singapore, South Korea. Even with heavy state involvement, they invest in infrastructure and industry to build wealth. The UK invests in systems of enforcement instead. You're not getting high-speed rail, cutting-edge factories or dynamic economy. You're getting cameras, IDs and restrictions. A slow cage built around a shrinking pie. And here's the uncomfortable truth. A government drowning in debt and facing social unrest doesn't want an independent, upwardly mobile citizenry. It wants a predictable, compliant population. Stagnation and surveillance achieves that. And once you've normalised control measures like ULEZ, digital ID, gated internet, cashless payments, you don't need to outlaw dissent. You can just switch people off. And Britain used to be a place where growth and freedom went hand in hand. Now it's a place where control is king and growth is a slogan. The question is, will people notice this shift before the door locks? Or will we quietly adapt like we did after every temporary control measure in the past?